Peter Haviland, North Star, founder and CEO of The Divorced CEO. I wanted to do a quick video on a topic that I think is very important, which is the topic of why do men hide? So when I was going through my process of even the decision to actually get the divorce, but even before that, when I was struggling in my marriage, one of the key elements that I was faced with, I didn't share my pain. I didn't share my pain with anybody. I was basically keeping it secret to my family. And even afterwards, when I went through the divorce, there's a lot of stuff that I didn't share with my family. Now, why did I do that? I did that because I was ashamed. I felt guilty. I felt like a failure. The failure part was a big part of it, like not feeling like you're a man enough, that you can't solve your problems, you can't fix your relationship issues. So guilt and shame was a massive, massive thing for me. So I was hiding a lot. I was pretending like everything was fine, and behind the scenes, everything was falling apart. Now, why do I believe that we men do that? Now, some will say that it's because we're taught, trained, and educated to not share emotion. And I think there is partly truth in that, and I believe there's another part of it, which is also that we men are, in our mindset, we want to fix things. And we're very bad at asking for help when we want to fix certain elements in our life, especially our relationship. But also because we have this idea that if I do X towards my wife or my partner, then the result will be Y. Like, we have this very logical mindset of how we deal with problems. The challenge with that is that women don't deal with problems the same way as we do, right? So it doesn't matter if, an example in my own marriage was the sock problem, right? That I would leave my socks everywhere. And I don't know if that's a typical me thing or if it's a typical man thing. I just know that it's a big problem. Now, my idea was that, okay, so now she complains about me not having, cleaned up my socks. But my rationale was, okay, so if I do this, then she'll be more happy, then we'll spend more time together, and you can, take it as far as you want. But the point is that we men, we have a logical approach to how we deal with problems, and it's not always the best way, right? So instead of asking for help and support from the people around us, we often keep this to ourselves. We sedate, we hide, we pretend, we put on another mask that says, well, I got everything under control, so I'm not gonna share this with anybody. The challenge with that, and I know this because I went through this time and time again, it is the struggle of suffering in silence, like actually suffering in silence, right? So we go to work, we focus more on work, we put all our energy into work, we don't want to go home because we know that when we go home, we have to be faced with the problem, and we have absolutely no solution to that problem. So if this is something that you know from your life and something that you resonate with, the fact that you are a man that's trying to solve these problems, but you don't know how to solve them, and you have done the equation solvation, right? So you're trying to solve it by doing X, Y, and Z so that your wife will then be happy and love you and have more sex with you, and it's not working. Trust me, I know exactly how that feels. It is a big problem for us men that we don't ask for support and we don't ask for help. So the second reason why I had a hard time asking for help was because when I actually did ask for help, I actually didn't get what I needed. I got a lot of stories from other people, like, oh, that's too bad, like blah, blah, blah. But I didn't get the validation that I actually needed, that this was a shit part of my experience. Like, it was hard for me to go through this. So I stopped sharing. And that was the problem also when I was going after the divorce, is that when I did share my pain with people around me whom I thought or I believed would be open to listening and helping and supporting, they were all like pushing me away and be like, oh, yeah, okay, you'll get through it, Or they would use the typical man up kind of idea. And I think people do that because they get uncomfortable with their own emotions and their own doubts come up in terms of their relationships. So yeah, there's many things I can talk about in terms of us men hiding, and I will probably talk more about it because it is a big challenge. Like for me to working with divorced men, specifically businessmen, men that have a business that try to be somewhat unseen in the public eye, hide a lot, right? Because they don't want their story to look bad upon their business, right? So that becomes even harder when you deal with men like that because it's a challenge to get them to open up in the first place. But then when they do open up, then what do we do with that pain? What do we do with that story that's behind the scenes of all the years where they tried to get their marriage to work, but it didn't? So if this resonates with you, drop a comment below, share this video. I'm gonna do daily videos moving forward. Have a good day.